We bleed!
There's two down for Just Jay. 31 and a 40. We saw some 40, or 31 and a 30. We saw some 40s out of him in the first one, but we are running a little hotter here. Practice pack 2. On to our third and final lap we go with Merman, 14.6 seconds back behind our leader. He's got a 42 and a 33. And we say a good morning and hello to everybody watching on the WeBLEED FPV channel. There's 3 laps for Just Jay, FPV, a 31, a 30, and a 30.9. 3 consistent laps for him. We're also live on the Multi-GP YouTube channel. I'm Joe Scully, and with me, my good buddy, Jesse P. on his road trip week.
Good morning. Yeah, on my road trip week. Good morning to everybody on both YouTube channels. Help us beat the YouTube algorithm. Push like right now, because we're going to be doing several different videos for the different classes, right?
That's right.
That means the more we game the algorithm right now, the more our friends are likely to see these other videos we're about to be dropping live for these other double elimination brackets. Welcome to the Northeast Whoop Championships here in Fayetteville, New York. It's a drizzly morning outside, but it's beautiful air in here. And we've had 8 pilots through 1 to 2 packs of practice so far, getting ready to start our first official double elimination bracket race.
That's right. As you're just joining us here this morning, we're officially starting with our Hobbyist division. There's 4 divisions of the 60 pilots, actually 57 pilots competing over the course of the weekend. We're starting with our first group, that Hobbyist division, qualifiers 49 through 56. And they're going to go into their first bracket race now. Double elimination brackets. Top 2 go on in the winner's bracket. Bottom 2 into the consolation bracket. Here in this Hobbyist division, there's just 8. So it's going to be 6 matchups. And we're starting with our first preliminary round. And in this one, we are going to be featuring Spare Parts Junior, making the trip from Syracuse. He's your almost hometown pilot. Qualifying a little lower in our field, Just Jay FPV at his first drone race, making the trip down from Ontario, Canada. Killer Cupcake from Mechanicville, New York, and New Hampshire, represented with your highest seed here in match number 1, or I guess your second highest seed in match number 1, Merman. This is match number 1. We're running it Whoop style from the Whooptopia format. It's become quite popular, trying to run 2 batteries back to back. This group just ran a warm-up pack. I got a thumbs up from Seeker, our flight line director. They're set to go green. It's now 3-lap races, Jesse P. Pilots, arm your quads. Live on the tone in less than 5. Off to the races we go. Great start for Just Jay FPV to start things off. Then you got Merman running second. It's kind of how they are in the seeding, this group. Then Killer Cupcake getting through, and now Spare Parts. We are underway. Everyone on lap number 1 chasing Just Jay.
Looked like a pretty clean start. I'm still watching Just Jay now hitting the dive gate for the first time. Makes it through almost clean. And now to that wiggle waggle, rounding out lap number 1 for Just Jay. Let's see what time he's going to bring across.
Well, we saw some low 30s in practice. 27.6 is his hot lap right there, leading our field. But here in these brackets, these first few brackets, you just want to be first or second. Your leader just went down. Merman gets onto that lead lap. He's 9.5 seconds back behind our leader, Just Jay. They're 1 and 2, and right now they're in the captain's chairs, the pilot seats. As we are about to catch him up, we may have the blade-to-blade race here in just a moment at the front. But now Just Jay has found a gear. Still looking for Killer Cupcake and Spare Parts Junior to get onto that lead lap. Top 2 in the winner's bracket, bottom 2 in the consolation bracket. Right now, you got some of those first race jitters, but they're doing all right. Killer Cupcake now on that lead lap.
Could be wrong. I think Merman just moved into first place in front of Just Jay after a little bit of an error on the dive gate.
You are correct. Merman leading by 1.7 seconds on to the third and final lap. But right now, they're in fine form. They're 30 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. They just need to be first and second. Whether you get the checkered or you're, reserve in this one, doesn't matter. You're moving on to that semifinal, the winner's bracket.
They're having a race off together either way, and it's Just Jay constantly pulling ahead, making a little bit of an error, and then Merman trying to catch up. That's the situation once again right now. About 2 gates apart. Going on to the crash gate for Just Jay, making it official. First win at the event. Congratulations.
Competing in his first drone race and his first win of the day, Just Jay with the W. Getting the win by 4.8 seconds over Merman in second. So they will move on to the semifinal of the winner's bracket. Killer Cupcake still working for us on to lap number 3 here in just a moment. Looks like Spare Parts is going to try and get up. Now, a few changes. I know we're on the WeBLEED FPV channel, so for them, no changes. But on the MultiGP YouTube channel, because we're racing whoops, the NASCAR rule is not in play. So NASCAR rule in the short sense, when the winner goes through the start-finish gate, or in this sense, lands in the crash gate, everyone finishes up the lap that we're on. Not with whoops. You get to finish the 3, unless you're down for the count, and Paul Atkins goes up and counts you out. Taps you out.
Yeah.
So you finish your 3 laps, and then we go from there.
Yeah, right now the entire Tiny Hop community is clapping their hands and celebrating the death of the NASCAR rule. There is huge contention against it, and pretty much people always favor points in a race-off if possible.
Well, the race-off, that comes, that's the motocross
Bravo,
rule.
pilots.
The NASCAR rule is the finishing, and then the points on the placement is where we kick in with the motocross rule, and that too is waived, and that's where we're going to have race-offs, which even though let's say motocross rule is a multi-GP rule, Chris Thomas, the founder and CEO of MultiGP, he was the king of race-offs all the time. Remember racing for props and presenting the champion? So a little bit off of the traditional MultiGP rule, but it's going to be maybe some extra fun head-to-head racing over the course of the day.
Definitely. Yeah, race-offs are the highlight of the event for me. I can't get enough of them. So congratulations to Just Jay and Merman. We'll visit with Killer Cupcake and Spare Parts Jr. in just a couple heats in the elimination bracket. Race number 9.
Hold on, no, because we skipped that one. Luckily, I made my notes. So Just Jay and Merman are going to be back in the next 3 batteries. We got a warm-up pack for our second group, then their bracket race. Then we'll go to Just Jay, Merman, and the winner of this next group. And then Killer Cupcake and Spare Parts Jr., their journey hasn't finished yet. They're going to be back in match 12, which is technically 4 matches away on our program.
Easy.
So this is a warm-up pack, right? We're running it whoop style. Warm-up pack for FPV Fritz, Hyde FPV, Casper Skulls, and Fitty. Pilots are ready. Let's go green. Again, this one's for fun, pilots. It's a warm-up. We're going green. Army Quads, live on the tone, less than 5.
Strong launch for Casper Skulls. Second through the gate with Hyde FPV as Fritz has a little bit of contact with the gate there. Right now, side by side, it's Casper Skulls and Hyde FPV. As I say that, Hyde goes down. Now Casper running away with it already at the 180 at the back of the room. Casper Skulls riding in the number 1 spot right now, lower left of your screen as he gets ready to set up for the dive gate here in this practice round. This is the round where I just have to constantly remind myself it's practice time. None of this is for realsies. Because he just got passed right in the dive gate. Was it Fitty?
We got a 3-way battle for the lead right now on lap number 1. They've traded places
Practice round.
right in front of us. It'll be Casper Skulls, FPV Fritz, and Fitty. But you said Fitty was in the lead. When you said that, he was. They're just trading places so many times here on this opening lap
Super
of practice.
fast. Yeah, all 3 of them within 2 seconds of each other through the first lap start gate. So who have we got right now? Appears to be Fitty. Fitty already at that wiggle waggle on lap number 2, getting ready to round it out and enter onto his final lap.
That's right, buddy. On to lap 3, we take Fitty.
Casper Skulls riding in second place and looking like a stronger and stronger position. Again, I have to remind myself constantly, we're chilling in practice right now. This is just for funsies.
They're separated by 8.2 seconds, first and second. And issues right now with Hyde FPV to get up. Again, this is a practice pack, not the worst, no stress. Like we saw our winner in the last heat. I mean, they posted 40s. Then when they came to the brackets, they were conserving.
Yeah.
Might
That's
have-
how you should practice. That's how I want to practice. I never do. I always end up pushing too hard. But practice, you just want clean laps at any cost at that stage.
There is Fitty working his way. That's not right, is it? No. Yeah? There he is. Fitty was looking for the crash gate. There he goes across the line. So for us, we're going to see a race ending. We're going to hear dings. But it is a race to the crash gate at the 2023 IO Whoop Championships. We had an amazing pass between the start-finish gate and the crash gate. Actually cost Porkchop FPV a position into our finals. Yeah, a little bit of drama on that crash gate at
So
IO
Porkchop did not
2023.
make the finals?
He, whichever race it was, remember IO is a blur
Of course.
every year,
It's supposed to be.
but he got passed between the timing gate and the start-finish gate. And it cost him either a podium position or getting in that final four.
That's
Trying to remember.
awesome.
But whole new event here is he came back with a vengeance. He was our TQ for the longest time yesterday. He's second in qualifying. Porkchop FPV from Canada, 1.7 seconds. Got to divide that by 3, so just over half a second a lap on his fastest 3 laps in qualifying, behind the TQ. But until Neon came out in that last group last night, had a couple of packs in them. Porkchop was our TQ all day. So it went
Yeah.
from 0 to hero, but got a taste of that racing environment at the Whoop Tent at IO 2023.
Nice. And was that his first big event? Had he done other ones?
He'd been to other races, but it was his
Not the
first
big
major
ones?
event. Yeah, first time. It was
That is so
International
cool.
Open 2023, and here he is at the 2024 WeBLEED NorthEast Whoop Championship. Second overall in qualifying, and definitely one of the fan favorites.
Absolutely.
From us all meeting him last summer to here we are, whole new
Well,
year.
and I just met him for the first time last night. I was at Underground Whoop League Championships yesterday. I rolled into town, and I expected everybody to be talking about Neon, which of course they were. But the big story when we were out last night was Porkchop, a guy I had just met, chilling in second seed.
Yes, sir.
Amazingly.
So now it's time to get for real here in this group with the Hobbyist from Mendham Township, New Jersey. We got Hyde FPV. From Virginia, we got FPV Fritz. From York, Pennsylvania, Casper Skulls. And from Rentham, Massachusetts, Fitty. 3-7 Fitty. Or Raw. Or Silva. They got man of many names. Kind of like Kanye. He's
Mock.
like Yee, the Yee of whoop racing.
Absolutely.
Fitty is your high seed here in this matchup.
The pilot formerly known as Raw.
The pilot formerly known as Raw. Looks like we're set to go. Oh, no, Paul Adkins walking down the line. We're confirming a good downlink of control right now. We're in a little bit of a holding pattern. We're about to go green. Waiting for that thumbs up to come through, Jesse P. This is the real race. Top 2 advancing to the semifinal, the winner's bracket. Bottom 2 into our consolation bracket. And looks like everyone could put their goggles on their... We're going to take a moment, unplug, and...
We are in a holding pattern. Honestly, when I'm going into the preliminary round, the last thing I want to do is sit in my goggles for over a minute or something. I have to do it the same as when I'm flying, casually. Leave it up there, and then right when they say arm your quads, I go down to the last second. Hard for me to chill. And, especially here in Hobbyist class, we're going to see more pilots having their first event. I want to pass out that advice because nobody told me. I stomp my feet. I leave my goggles up. I don't do anything until it's race time.
That's right. I mean, we've seen it time and time again inside those flight lines, and we're in a holding pattern here. Someone needs to get a backup quad, and people are just sitting there. We're looking at what they're seeing in their goggles, and it's not fun to look at some of these events with interference. You got the glitchy. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Remember as a young kid, your parents told you don't sit in front of the TV, and here, look at what we're doing. I have my kid out here. I'm like, put these screens as close to your eyeballs as possible. We got another 90 seconds on the clock here to get our 4 pilots ready to go on that backup quad. Now we're like, yeah, let's get that feed right there. So we give them a break, goggle up. We take that. We're getting a nod. Backup quad is good, and giving everyone a chance to get a good first match in. Top 2 to the winner's bracket, bottom 2 in our consolation bracket. So top 2 in this one, advancing to match 11 to compete against Just Jay and Merman. Bottom 2 will go to match 9, which will be pretty much... No, they'll go to match 12, so they'll have a break. The winners are going to race back-to-back. A little bit of an advantage here in how they've seeded. And the bottom 2 will have a break of 1.
I want to say a quick hello to some of our friends in the chat. Bobby, I said your hello. Thanks so much for the shout-out. Hope you're doing well. I saw your hilarious... Never mind.
Yeah.
Hey, what up, Prop Junkie? 8-Bits here. And Shelby, old school. A lot of OGs in the chat now. Good morning.
All right,
Welcome.
pilots, we're going green. FPV Fritz is your highest seed in the Hobbyist division. Your first ace to chase. Pilots, arm your quads. Live on the tone in less than 5. Off to the races we go, and you thought Fritz, as your Iron Man here, would be the first one off the line, but he's just playing it safe. Whole shot going to go to Casper Skulls. And now they shuffle up again.
Yeah, Fiddy was right behind him. Now, once again, a huge shuffle on the triple stack gate. And Casper Skull's on his lid, already trying for the double turtle. There's one. We're going to bring him back in just a minute. Who's the first one to reach that dive gate? Well, we're not quite there yet, but we're getting ready.
No, we had a switch up. Fiddy was leading. Hyde FPV getting by him. And now looks like Fiddy's got ahead of him. And over to your dive, we go with Fiddy, but he just had a little bobble.
That's
now we got
chance for
Hyde coming up on the backside of Fiddy. This is a banger in lap number 1.
Hyde versus Fiddy right there at the Wiggle Waggle gate, getting ready to finish lap number 1. Another bobble for Fiddy. Oh, was that contact? Hyde versus Fiddy. Fiddy gets sent off, and Hyde runs away with it. That's lap number 1 for Hyde. Number 1 for Fiddy, a few seconds back. Well, we're watching Fiddy, currently riding first place. Got some heat from Hyde at the dive gate once again. Makes it through clean first try this time. Nice job, Fiddy. But he's still got action right there on the Wiggle Waggle gate. It's Fiddy versus Hyde here in this preliminary round race of the Hobbyist class. Bobbles all over the place. Smoothest flight is going to win. Well, starting to separate out just a bit now. I'm looking at Fiddy in first. Now Fritz is nearby, getting closer as they get ready to set up for the dive. Let's have a look at Fiddy's dive. Looks nice and clean. Fritz right behind him also makes it through cleanly first attempt, and now we're on to the Wiggle Waggle as Fiddy gets ready to round out another lap right now. Fritz is chasing him down and can't quite get there fast enough. Nicely done, Fiddy, with the first place here in this official round. Fritz taking second. And Hyde upside down in the preliminary round. You hate to see it. But
well,
congratulations to Fiddy and Fritz. Moving on to race number 11, I think right now.
Yep, it's going to be a back-to-back for them. Of course, Journey not coming to an end yet for Hyde FPV or Casper Skulls. And so we get set to advance them there. We're going to have some channel changes here to talk about in just a sec. Looks like FPV Fritz is going to have to go to race band 6. And again, that is a back-to-back. We're going to allow this last lap here to finish up. And so they are going to be up right now. That is going to move Casper Skulls and Hyde FPV to the on-deck heat after that, match number 12. We're going to have a channel change for Casper Skulls. Going to go to race band 1. So Casper Skulls, race band 1, you're on deck. FPV Fritz going to race band 6. You are up now with Fiddy, Merman, and Just Jay. Match 11 on our program is where we've jumped.
And the first and second place from this round, we're going to take all the way to the finals. Everyone else.
Semifinal. Semifinal. Oh, from this race.
From
right.
this race, race number 11.
Slap me the next time I'm wrong, would you?
I would never. No, I was wrong. I'm so sorry.
No, you were right.
No, but
This
I'm never.
race,
No,
this race that we're about to run.
I know I was right.
The winner from this goes to the final.
I was. We were
confused.
just saying we never correct each
I
other
know, I know.
ever.
And then I was trying to uncorrect the correction. but
Exactly, and I was trying to support that
I
to
appreciate
take a
it.
dive.
But I was jumping around, so I was looking at the previous race.
We were
That's why I
switching
got-
sides too fast and trying to get behind each other on opposite sides.
I know.
But
the
yes,
computer
that-
I'm operating is in front of you. We're all mixed matched.
But the truth is, Just Jay, Merman, Fiddy, and Fritz are the winners from the preliminary round here in the hobbyist class. And we're going to take 2 of them all the way to finals. The other 6 pilots are still alive, but they will have all taken their first hit. We'll meet up with them in race 12, the quarterfinals of the entire hobbyist class, and we'll work our way towards the finals 2 races later.
That's right. 3rd and 4th in this go to the semifinal consolation bracket. They have a chance to journey their way in to that Final Four. Final Four is going to be Chase Ace. That'll be a good time as always. So we have Just Jay. He was 2nd in qualifying here in our hobbyist division. You have Merman, who is 3rd in qualifying this division. Fiddy, who is 4th in qualifying this division. And Fritz, who is our TQ. So your semifinal of the winner's bracket of the hobbyist division are your top 4 from qualifying. 2 of them going to our Final Four. The other 2 we could have another rematch of the Final Four. That is pretty exciting as we set the stage.
That could happen. It has happened other times. Let's see if we can get video for Fiddy. Okay, looks like we're in a brief holding pattern. Pilots, stand by while we get our last quad set up on the line right now.
Is it possible for this to be a live stream instead of this view for us? Or a different thing? Doug? Does Doug hear me? Is it possible to have this as a live stream? It's just the commentary. So I don't see the live stream. I see 4 up and you know what I mean? In-house, we got the Borg Slayer jams, Borg Slayer DJing on the 1s and 2s. And it sounds like a little Timmy Trumpet. I'm one of the world's biggest Timmy Trumpet fans.
Turning up the energy here in the winner's bracket. I say we crank the music for this one. Am I right, everybody?
Yeah, we were joking. It's a perfect level right now. Easy. All right. Top 2 going to our Final Four. Bottom 2, the consolation bracket semifinal with a chance to dance again. These are your top 4 in the hobbyist division. Good luck, pilots. We're going green. Arm your quads. Live on the tone in less than 5.
That looked like contact for FPV Fritz, but he didn't hit the ground, so we're going to keep on flying. Just Jay looking really strong right now, flying fast with the usual characteristic bobbles we saw from the first couple of packs.
Well, there's the announcer curse. He hits into a gate. Going to try and turtle mode his craft, recover it remotely. And now that switches things up. We're
Merman.
chasing the Merman.
Merman in 1, Fiddy in 2, and it looks like that's wrong.
Fritz is
Fritz
climbing
already
up
at
as
the
well.
end of lap number 1.
Well, he's catching up to Fiddy as Merman goes on to lap number 2, 35-0. And there's Fritz 3 seconds back in the number 2 spot. Just Jay got back up, but Fiddy is going to hold the number 3 spot. 2 laps to go. Just Jay catching up to our field. He's a little bit back here by that dive gate. Going to try and work his way into the finals. Otherwise, it's going to be an extra pack, a little bit of a grinder to get into that Final Four. Back to big, almost 3-way battle here at the front with Merman, Fritz, and Fiddy. Down goes Fritz.
Yeah,
Down goes Fiddy.
The story of Merman this heat is slow and steady, and it's working. You can feel the nerves and the shakiness of the camera, but he's keeping it together and has been holding a steady pace. I saw that last dive. Somebody dove right in front of his camera, obviously hit the ground while he was keeping it smooth. Let's watch another dive by Merman now.
Well, Merman with a good lead, 12 seconds over Fritz in second. They're both on the final lap, but don't count out Just Jay. He gets onto that final lap as well. We're separated by about 12 to 14 seconds, first to second to third. We get back up in the air. We get into the crash gate with Merman. And so now it's between Fritz and Just Jay for that second transfer position.
Look
and
how
everyone's had
fast
issues.
Just Jay is flying so fast. He's obviously got the skill.
There's
Can he
the
keep it
pass.
consistent?
That's the pass.
Right at the final
Redemption.
gate.
Just Jay just made it to the Final Four.
Not incredible. That was an awesome finish. Bravo.
I mean, you were talking in practice. Can we talk out of school a little bit? We can, right?
Yeah.
Jesse P was watching Merman. He pointed it out to me in the practice. He's like, look at the nerves of Merman, the shaking. And then we're watching, everyone's crashing out and having problems in that race other than Merman. He's still at the shakes. That's where I'm like, you're 12 seconds, you're 14 seconds. Like, calm down. He was able to fly through the nerves, fly smooth. Merman with a big win, getting the win by 21 seconds. But Just Jay pulling up second, redeeming himself. He went from fourth to finish second. He crashed, and once he saw he got back up, he's like, no safety, full send. He's in our Final Four. No tears as of yet for FPV Fritz and Fitty. They are now in the semifinal, the consolation bracket. They're going to have a break of one. They're going to race off versus two more pilots, and we may have a rematch of those four in our Final Four for Podium here at the 2024 WeBLEED NorthEast Whoop Championships.
But speaking of tiers, it's time for us to jump down to the sad bracket for our first elimination race, race number 12 in your program. And this will be the first sad bracket race of the entire event, won't it? Where somebody's career here at the NorthEast Whoop Championships will come to an end.
Their journey will come to the end, not the worst. They're going to finish up 8th, 7th in the Hobbyist division. Nice. It's for George. What are we playing for here this weekend?
Boom.
How about that? The metal. The metal.
We are 12, right? On 12.
This is 12, yep. Consolation bracket. Top two in this advance to 13, the semifinal of the consolation bracket. So they get to race top two here. Race now, race back-to-back in match number 13. Back-to-back again in that Final Four. If they're successful, first and second, the next two races, they're in the finals.
Back-to-back one more time because it's going to be, unless we have any kind of Ironman rule in effect. What is the story with Ironman at this event? We're going to have to double-check that info.
Ironman rule is in effect, but our Ironman didn't win all his races, so Ironman is not going to apply here.
Fritz does not have Ironman in effect after being TQ and Hobbyist. There's no Ironman period at this entire event.
Yeah, so basically every rule other than starting a race applies, and then everything else is off.
Yep, yeah, no, that makes perfect sense.
Totally. So no Ironman.
I personally...
There's the... we'll have an unofficial Ironman, because if someone sweeps it...
I'll give him a special unofficial Ironman high
but
five.
rules-wise, regardless, when we get to the Final Four, it'll be at least 2 rounds, regardless, is where we're at. But we can still talk... We can still talk about an Ironman champion, but officially...
Hey, Joe, did you hear that in the enthusiast, I believe it was the enthusiast class at Whooptopia this year, we took a finals to 5 rounds?
Did not hear it. In the enthusiast.
Amazing. So great. So good.
Double-checking video.
And there was no Ironman there, I heard. Let's go green. Pilots, arm your quads. Live on the tone, less than 5.
Well, here we go. It's the first elimination race of the entire event here in the Hobbyist class. Looking at the whole shot, it's side by side for Hyde and Casper Skulls changing places.
Killer Cupcake was keeping up this time around. We were seeing a new Killer Cupcake. Back to Casper Skulls and Hyde FPV. Casper Skulls just ahead of Hyde FPV. Issues for Killer Cupcake and Spare Parts Jr. They can get up. They can redeem themselves. Already this morning we've seen someone go from 4th to, advancing in the top 2. So finish your races regardless. Keep that confidence up. But if you're Casper Skulls or Hyde, should be feeling pretty right now. Got about half of the track or more ahead of the rest of the field that could eliminate you.
Well, there was the dive for Hyde and Casper Skulls. Now we're watching Killer Cupcake. Knows it's time to shine right now. Another little bit of a bobble as the nerves get to him just a touch. But It's time to push the limits of your quad, push the limits of your skill here in this elimination round. It's time to catch Casper Skulls and Hyde FPV.
They're on to lap number 2. They are 3.5 seconds apart.
Casper Skulls currently riding first place in front of Hyde as they hit that triple stack gate for the second time and set up for the dive. Let's watch Casper Skulls hitting the dive just ahead of Hyde FPV. Nice and clean.
No, it's not the last lap. You still have another lap. We're only on, we're only on lap 2.
Well, a little bit of a bobble on the dive gate for Hyde opens the door for third place. Appears to be Killer Cupcake. 2 course features behind Hyde, but Hyde still struggling on the dive. There's the pass. He made it under, but now both pilots struggling. Hyde and Killer Cupcake side by side at the bottom of the dive. Killer Cupcake now running away with it here in lap number 2. Getting a little excited with a wide turn over the wiggle waggle there. But now Hyde trying to catch him back. Meanwhile, Casper Skulls at the front of the pack going for his final dive gate. And a little bit of a second attempt there.
Still watching Killer Cupcake. A little bit back from our field here, but had a sub 50-second lap time.
Well, Killer Cupcake, second place position right now, trying to lead as far in front of Hyde as possible. Meanwhile, Casper Skulls in first place goes down. Casper Skulls making it official. Keeping it alive in the crash gate, and here comes Killer Cupcake. Was able to hold on to second place all the way to the crash gate. A lot of drama that round. I'm not sure what went down with Spare Parts Jr. Appears to be trapped under a set of wires for the LED gates here. But let's bring around Hyde FPV for a strong finish into the crash gate. And unfortunately, Spare Parts unable to get out from a wedge underneath one of these beautiful LED gates. Here at the 2024 Northeast Whoop Championships, it's our first elimination race. Excuse me.
And so that's where the journey is going to end. A top 8 finish of our Hobbyist division for Spare Parts Junior, and 7th in the division going to Hyde FPV. That lap 3 was a killer for Hyde, but still a top 8 finish in our Hobbyist division. And so we advance Casper Skulls and Killer Cupcake to our semifinal of the Consolation bracket, which is right now, and a channel change for Killer Cupcake to Race Band 2. It'll be Casper Skulls, Killer Cupcake, FPV Fritz, and Fitty up now, where the top 2 in this semifinal of the Consolation bracket go to our final versus Merman and Just Jay. So many great sponsors here. Happy Model is with us, the 2024 WeBLEED Northeast Whoop Championship. We, I think, converted a lot of our stuff to Happy Model, our stuff being my team pilot, Just Jay. A lot of changes at this event. In fact, he started qualifying with a quad he'd never flown before.
That's classic.
Little sketch.
That's classic FPV right there. That's perfect first big event.
Was even flying last night at about 1 o'clock in the morning. Someone was so nice and gave Just Jay some gates. One of the Tiny Whoop cubes that you can get at the tinywhoop.com store. WeBLEED gate as well, and some other apparatus. So that filled our hotel room. And while I was just trying to finish some stuff on the computer, one eye open. If we didn't have enough whoop racing yesterday and qualifying from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Just Jay was tuning in those quads. And, well, so far, it's working for him in our final 4.
Yeah, that's classic, right? The night before the big event, it's time to make serious changes to your beta flight. It's time to make changes to your hardware and your software. That's the classic FPV pre-race move. At least it was for me and the rest of Team Big Whoop back in the day. We would always get to the race, get to know the field, see everybody's equipment, see everybody's settings, want all of that, make giant changes in our hotel rooms the night before, and then just take a huge dive the next morning.
It was a grinder last night, yeah, that training and ours. Thanks again to Happy Model again. Learned a lot about Happy Model last night over the course of getting those quads ready. We also want to thank our friends at Beta FPV, big name of the game, ready to fly kits, bind and fly, and all the gear for cinematic experience as well. They really are taking over that cinematic micro space. Big supporter of ours. Thank you, Beta FPV. Also, Radio Master. Are you rocking the Radio Master yet? I'm surprised. We're still rocking the X9D Tyrannus Free Sky, but...
Hashtag cringe.
Yeah,
Of
I
course
know.
I'm rocking the Radio Master.
Yes, sir.
I got the custom TX16S with modified gimbals. I did the whole shebang, you know.
Great
I love that
sponsors.
transmitter.
Great sponsors, the community. Great sponsor of this event, Radio Master. And gonna have to take a look at some of those surveys. I think taking over might be the choice of most pilots now. If they're not already the leading name in radios, they are climbing up. Thank you, Radio Master, for your support of the 2024 WeBLEED Northeast Whoop Championship. This is Consolation bracket semifinals. Yeah, 13 of the whole event. We can go home after this, Seeker.
The whole Hobbyist event. Come on.
Also want to thank Newbie Drone.
Yeah,
Big
Newbie
in the
Drone is
space.
one of our diamond sponsors alongside Beta FPV and Emax. Huge contributors to this event on the highest level. Thank you so much to the sponsors. It really does take a village to pull off a giant event like this. And the sponsors that show that level of community support, I can't help but feel gratitude for. You know, I love Tiny Whoop. I love the entire Tiny Whoop community. And when somebody shows up with that level of generosity, we see ripples in the community.
Yes, sir. Thank you, our diamond sponsors of the 2024 WeBLEED Northeast Whoop Championship. All right, if you're third or fourth in this one, you're fifth or sixth overall in the elite group.
Not bad.
Or in the hobbyist group. It's a pretty good thing. You're an elite champion to us. However, top two advancing to our final four here in our hobbyist division. Good luck, pilots. We're going green. Arm your quads. Live on the tone in less than 5. There's Go Tone. Up and at him we go. This could happen. It's the Northeast Whoop Championship. We got Massachusetts, Virginia, New York, and the Keystone State, Pennsylvania, all in this one. And we seem to be chasing Fritz or Casper. Okay.
Yep, Casper up there in the one spot, already at the 180. Now he'll hit the triple stack gate for the second time. He does have action. Killer Cupcake was there, but took a little bit of a dive, and now second place goes to FPV Fritz as Killer Cupcake trying to get a wing out from underneath that electric cord. Please don't happen in the semifinals. It's a double turtle move for Killer Cupcake. In the meantime, it's already wiggle waggle for Casper Skulls at the end of lap number 1. Tips his hat going through the first gate, but recovers cleanly. Now it's lap number 2 for your lead pilot, Casper Skulls FPV.
38.5 there on lap number 1. Fritz 3.6 seconds back on to lap 2. We go with him as well. Fitty 4.2 seconds back from the transfer position with 2 laps to go. And we are still cooking with grease.
Fitty fighting hard to catch up right now. It's a fight to stay alive in the elimination round. Getting set up for finals, but a really strong position for Casper Skulls with a clean dive gate. And already setting up for the wiggle waggle. Casper Skulls, your leader, now moving on to his final lap. Got to read for him.
Yeah, we got to read.
Oh, nice. A 39 to follow his 38.5. Nice consistency. You can tell he's trying to fly nice and smooth. In some of these early bracket races, that's going to be all that matters. Casper Skulls getting set up now for his final dive gate. Here in the semifinals, really strong position. I'm looking back at the pack to see who's riding third right now. There's FPV Fritz riding second through the dive gate as well.
It's Fitty in third. Killer Cupcake gets out on that third and final lap. Of course, there is no NASCAR rule. Everyone gets 3 laps. And there is going to be a review on this one, so finish your third laps, because third may be second, pending a DVR review.
Well, we'll check that out. But in the meantime, we did have an epic race past the start-finish gate into the crash gate for Casper Skulls and Fritz. It was almost side by side, you know. And if who beat who in? Who got in quick? Unofficially.
Do we have the DVR as a source? No? Didn't we yesterday? Oh.
Well.
So I'm about to do 2 DVR reviews.
Results unofficial here in the semifinal of the hobbyist class of the Northeast Whoop Championships. We're going to have to
The one that's on Jesse P and I?
double check a few.
Results are unofficial on that one. We have something to check out. The dive gate on lap 1 for Casper Skulls And after that, we'll check out that finish. So results are unofficial. We're doing a DVR review in the raw. So watching this DVR review here, we're watching the left-hand side. And we're watching the left-hand side. Casper Skull's dive gate on lap 1. And here we go. Oh, he did it. So results are official on that one. Now let's play back that start-finish to the crash gate here. I'm looking at the wrong 2. Which it was 1 and 3. This is our setup here. This is just an old school DVR. This is how this review results are official. So it's Casper Skulls and Fritz up now versus Merman and Just Jay
For the final.
But what I'm trying to roll back to is just for you, the fans.
Look
and
at
that's
this.
the start finish into the crash right
side
there.
by side. Slow it down.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to slow it down. Just want to make sure I remembered how to use this DVR, buddy. So a little bit of contact there. You saw that? Let me go back 1 frame. Okay, I'm going to go back a few frames. Watch this. Do they mid-air or do we just bounce? No, we just bounced off the ground.
But it is a huge punch for Fritz right now. He's behind, and he's going to push it all the way into that crash gate as we tick forward. Let's do this.
First, shout out to the pilots for actually having their pilot handles on their OSD. Casper Skulls
know
on the
we
left,
love that.
FPV Fritz. He went through it wrong? I just DVR reviewed it. I thought he went through fine.
Third lap? I thought I just played back the first lap and it looked good. Okay, we'll look at it again. We'll look at it again. Oh,
Whoa.
maybe it was the second.
I'm loving this camera.
All right. So we do have to review.
It doesn't matter. On my third lap, I came out right out of ladder. I didn't get left, so it disqualified.
Ooh. So it will be Cupcake and Fritz.
That was Casper Skulls, right?
Yeah.
All right, so a little drama, but let's go back to this exciting finish.
I still want to know who got in the gate. It's going to be frame to frame.
All right.
Doug, glance back at that DVR screen for us. We're ready to look at it, even whether it matters or not.
He was trying to follow everything that was going on. We have so much going on right now as those other pilots.
He's trying to hog the camera right now. There he is.
Dougie's
Doug, can we get your smile in the frame as well?
He's smiling behind that screen. Casper Skulls on the left, FPV Fritz on the right. Casper Skulls is leading at this point. As you see, he gets through our timer gate. That's a ding, but the official finish is the crash gate. And you can already see Fritz on the right-hand side
Punching.
has picked up a gear. And you can see on Fritz on the right-hand side, there is, right there, there's Casper Skulls in FPV Fritz's FPV view as we keep rolling it. Look at this line.
But Casper moving a little slower, and Fritz is about to punch hard right now. Now they're right next to each other, side by side, and here goes Fritz making a hard move. I think he might get in first.
He does.
Oh, my goodness. That was how many frames? 3 frames separating after 3 laps? This is the
Super
hobbyist
tight.
class, ladies and gentlemen. It's just going to get better from here.
Now,
You love that finish. I don't even care about official results. I love that finish. Huge shout out to Fritz and Casper Skulls. I'm a fan.
all right, so we're going to roll back the tape here. So Wizard of Goss had flagged the same thing that I had flagged, and it was a dive gate on Casper Skulls lap 1. Looked weird. And so I played lap 1. It looked okay. It might have been lap 2. So we're just going to play that back just to officially confirm. But Casper Skulls came up and said, well, if you don't flag me out on that, I did have an issue on the ladder as well. And so Casper Skulls is going to pull up. Looks like that is going to give him third. And that is going to put Fitty fourth. Moving on. Fritz and Killer Cupcake. And, of course, I haven't done anything yet. So we're just going to play this back, watching the dive in the tower on the left-hand side.
I'm on it.
And while we do that, I'm going to advance some channels here. And so you're looking at that dive, and then you're looking
Yeah.
at the tower. That
No,
dive was
go
good
back.
there,
That
right?
dive was not done. That dive was not good, unfortunately. Yeah, what we just saw there was Casper Skulls not diving through the top of the gate, but accidentally hitting through the back of the gate and treating it like a straight-up cube gate.
Right.
We kept going forward after it, but we
so
watched it
I'm gonna
happen.
go back a little further.
Yeah, let's just clarify this. But a little further yet.
A little further back more. Okay.
This one right here. Now
Yeah.
watch him. He goes
Yeah.
in the back of the gate and straight through it like it's not a dive gate.
Right here,
It's
right?
an easy mistake to happen, and if you're not sure, the nerves happen here in the finals. We're in the semifinals of the entire hobby class event. It can happen. We don't think it was on purpose, but it's always good to go back and double check if you're not sure.
So
in
you
this
can-
case,
I'm replaying it over and over again. I know Casper Skulls is going to want to see it. He's probably reliving it on his mind.
Yep.
This is what we're flagged, and so that cost him making it to the final right there. And also word coming in another section of the course. So tough break for Casper Skulls. Shout out to him though. Epic finish along with FPV Fritz. And now the story coming in. Fritz and Killer Cupcake are racing right now in our final four. I have a channel change for Killer Cupcake, Seeker, going to Race Band 8. I appreciate your patience on that.
and in spite of those errors, Casper Skulls, if I'm not mistaken, still pulled off 5th overall in the hobbyist class of the Northeast Whip Championships. Nothing to feel too bad about.
Super excited about this Final Four. It's a truly Northeast final here at the 2024 WeBLEED Northeast Whip Championship. Coming in out of the Consolation bracket from Mechanicville, New York, Jennifer Marino, Killer Cupcake. Coming into that Consolation bracket, qualifying a little low, and in our Final Four for a chance of the piece of the podium. Of course, the Empire State part of the Northeast. Now let's go to the old Dominion state of Virginia from Chesapeake. It's Jonathan Steele, FPV Fritz, coming in out of the Consolation bracket. And remember, he got in with that epic pass between the timing gate and the crash
At
gate.
the last second, I call him the real Mr. Steele.
Now, your highest seed in qualifying comes in second overall out of the winner's bracket, representing the Northeast from Ontario, Canada. Marshall Scully, Just Jay, is in your Final Four.
He's got fans around here. I think he's going to be a pilot I want to watch because he seems to be the fastest. He also makes the most errors. It's his first big event. It's completely normal.
And
But
the
if he can
pilot-
keep it together, it's his.
Well, we saw those fast laps, and your highest ranked pilot in our Final Four coming in #1 out of the winner's bracket from Barrington, New Hampshire. It's KG Fairbarn. You know him as Merman.
Pilots now starting to put their goggles on. We've got quads plugged in on the line.
Now remember, this is Chase the Ace. We will run this group of 4 pilots repeatedly until someone gets 2 wins, 2 aces. That'll be your champion. Podium finishes have a couple asterisks. Next highest on points. The higher you finish, the more points you get. That could be second, that could be third on the podium. If there is a tie, you could be racing again in a race-off. Final 4 of the Hobbyist division, this could go as many as 5, 6, or 7 races, depending on how the points go, with the race-offs for second to third, third to fourth.
I would love that. Please make that happen, pilots.
Pilots are set. There is a look at our tiny whoops going green on Chase the Ace round 1 of at least 2. Good luck, pilots. Arm your quads. Live on the tone, less than 5. Off the blocks they go like a shot. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is Just Jay, Merman, Killer Cupcake, Fritz on the start. And already Fritz climbing up that ladder a bit. We're chasing Just Jay.
Look at the speed for Just Jay right now. We saw this in previous rounds. If he can keep it smooth, keep it calm, he's going to be just fine. He's setting up for that first dive right now. Tips his hat, but makes it through fairly clean. Now that horseshoe is going to take him to the wiggle waggle. Lap number 1, about to go to Just Jay riding first place.
2 laps to go.
Glancing back at the pack, I see Merman riding second place steadily, consistently, though shakily. In second place, classic Merman style, keeping it a nice, smooth flow here in lap number 2.
Fritz, Fritz and Killer Cupcake right now trading places there for third. Killer Cupcake now up into third ahead of Fritz. And we're looking up to the front here.
Just Jay on his final lap already.
Boom.
Just made the lap pass on Fritz and Killer Cupcake there in the Wiggle Waggle, and now he's having a very clean run in the finals here, setting up to take his first aces. He's already negotiating that Tetris piece by Emax in the middle of the room.
And the rest of the field kind of gapped, about 9.5 seconds back. Now longer than that. Merman still in second, even though he had a rough second lap. And Just Jay goes down, but he's got 19 seconds over the rest of the field. He's got some lap traffic in front of him, but he's at least a lap in front of those pilots that he's coming up on the backside of. Here he goes. Checkered into the crash gate. Just Jay with the win of Chase Yace, round number 1.
We're watching Merman now getting ready to bring it around. Shaky but steady. Bring it into the crash gate. Second place unofficially going to Merman FPV.
2 to finish up. FPV Fritz. Killer Cupcake. They're now gapped by a few. Looks like a lap now.
But they're close.
Fritz just finished up in the number 3 spot, and Killer Cupcake going to finish up that third lap. Now, the pace is going to slow down as we have a back-to-back, and so we have to race again, but we may be racing with different goals in mind. We do have a DVR review, as results are unofficial at this point, as we get set to play back the tape here. I believe it was on lap 2, or you want to watch the whole thing?
Bravo, pilots. First race of the Hobbyist class finals. I can't believe we're here already.
Lap 2? Yeah, I think so. Watch that while I hit some buttons.
Yep. I want you to see it, though. I'll call you.
Yeah.
So we have a...
Look at now.
Oh,
Here's the dial. Okay, that one's fine. I'll tell you next lap.
okay. We have a DVR review in play. I have some buttons to press. So many things going on. Regardless, these pilots are going to race again, at least one more time.
Okay, time to look. Put your eyes. Here's his dial. Missed it. Okay, that one's good. Let's get his last one.
Okay. I want to thank my friends at Lifetime Scoring Engine, putting some programming in there. When people like me mess up, I fixed my... Ooh, that's the one.
You got kicked out the side, but then just skipped it. Before that. So here it comes on the micro horseshoe, here's his dial.
So if he goes to the right, it's good.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
Well, right
does
now,
he? I think he-
right now, that's the elbow to the inside, right?
Let's keep watching. Yeah, that's the elbow. So if he goes to the right of that and exits the cube, he's good.
And now he's looking up into the cube. And now he's looking
Going
at the back.
into the cube.
So
He did
he
not
broke
go-
the plane. He broke that plane if
Yeah.
he went out of the cube and back in,
I agree.
right? Should we do it again for fun?
No, man.
Real time? I mean, technically, I shouldn't make the call, right? So
Yes, you should.
I can direct
Taste
you.
it is earned.
I can argue the call. So he hits the
Should've got-
inside and bounces out. And does he go through that plane of the gate? We got a DVR review, Dougie.
We have a DVR review in play. I'm going to explain what's going on here when everyone can see it. And the ace, the first ace is being contested. We'll watch it in real time real quick. So this is lap 3 for just JFPV. Goes through the top of the dive gate, bounces into a leg on the exit of the dive gate. Does he break the plane of the exit? So the question is, the dive gate, what is being judged? And to the best of my understanding, or how we've enforced it,
In the
it's
top, out the front.
The top bar and the cube facing out. Now, depend on how it's built, if it was just a flat dive gate, it would just be the top. It doesn't matter what leg you exit, but because it is a cube, it's going to go through the top and the plane. Now, this is, we're going to watch it in real time first, and then it's going to get a little scary, okay? Here's real time. Top, we hit something, we hit the back, we go out the side, and we go on. So, in real time, you're like,
Did he break the plane or the front of this cube is the question.
I kind of sound like John King during the elections on CNN. So what you do is you look at, so we're going to the wall right here. Did I go back? I miss it? We're going to...
It's time right now.
Okay,
Here we go.
now we're going to go frame by frame. And so what's going to happen here, he's going to hit the leg of the exit. Does he go out? Does he break the second plane, the dive cube?
Look
Right?
at that pre-turn right there.
Just
awesome
Jay's on it
hobbyist
here.
class pre-turn. So
So-
now he's going down. Now remember, this cube is pitched back. So when he's glancing at this connector on the lower left, he
Yep.
himself is pitched back because it almost looks level.
All right. So we know he needs to go to the right of that bar. You see the elbow? That's the inside.
Pretty much 1 inch. If he can get 1 inch out of that, he breaks the plane and he's good.
So that is hitting that bar right in the elbow, right? We're hitting the elbow. Now we yaw. Now we're looking up in the cube. Now we pop out.
Looking back down into the bottom back of the cube and pushing out the back. So the question is, in that split second, did he break the plane in front of the cube before he dipped all the way back into the cube? And it matters because this is for an ace. An ace is on the line in the finals.
So the question is, does he break the second plane? We have to make that decision when he goes backwards and the camera is pointing up at the cube, right? Here's the point of the crash. Here's the yaw spin. So he's looking sideways. Now, look at where the T is. He is inside the cube looking up at it, still inside the cube looking up at it.
This frame is questionable. This frame, he could be, he's in the plane, if you ask me right now. He's currently, in the plane. He's
Next frame.
starting to pitch back towards the rear of the cube. Is he out of it? It's hard to tell with these wide camera angles that make the world feel so big. I wish we had a third-person camera on that event.
On the dive cube.
So hard to tell. Regardless, that's a situation where you want to go back and fix it. And that's my advice to any new pilot. But all that matters to us is if he broke that plane, and it is really hard to tell. I think
we need the Wizard of Goss over here. He assisted with scoring. If he's been following along, he can make this call.
Yeah, he's like this.
Now they're...
Yeah, he went here. That's what it looked
The
like.
question is, crash?
Lightly made it.
That's what I thought.
Did we break? Does that break the plane? Oh. And remember, that part is angled.
And very wide field of view. The pilots over at the cube gate right now feel he broke the plane. Everyone over there feels he broke the plane. It wouldn't have been possible for him to adjust his maneuver without having broken the plane. Is the argument happening over at the cube right now? No, he was in the air.
Do you want to see the frame by frame one more time? You want to see the frame by frame one more time? Okay. So we get through the top. This is legit, but it's that second plane, right?
Looking good so far. Uh-oh. Now he's making a correction. You can feel him roll to the right here because he wants to get across that plane. Didn't quite get across. Now his quad's going to be bobbled straight up. We're going to stare at the sky next frame.
Now we yaw spin. Now we're looking up.
Are we in the this right here, he's on the plane. Yeah. Now he's pitching back to the rear of the cube. He's going to scoot right out the back and not make the correction.
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Yeah, you can go through it.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, it's going to be the call after a review of the tape. It is good. Just Jay will keep his ace. He broke the plane of the gate.
Everybody over there at the cube agrees he could not have possibly changed his trajectory without breaking that plane first.
There's no way you would have seen that third bar and the top without being beyond the plane. Now, there are rules. You can't go backwards through a gate, right, to go to the next gate and then get an advantage. But why that doesn't come into play, because he broke the plane of the gate. Even though he was backwards, he broke the plane of the gate. Doesn't say what direction you break the plane of the gate. As long as you go in the proper direction, your quad doesn't have to be facing the right direction. And so that is legit. Results are official. So when we grid them up again, when all 4 pilots have new lipos in, your first ace to chase is just JFPV. If he gets the win, he is your Hobbyist Division champion. It is going to be on Merman, who is second, FPV Fritz, who is third, and Killer Cupcake, who is fourth, to get this next win to push it to a Chase the Ace round 3. We run the group repeatedly until we get 2 wins from 1 pilot.
That's right. And it wouldn't be finals without a little bit of the drama. I mean, we're going to come across issues like that for the rest of the day. But, man, that was close. Really hard to tell. But congratulations to Just Jay, nevertheless, for pulling it off. I still recommend to new pilots that they go back if there's any question. But he literally didn't need to this time with a perfect run and a first-place ace in his pocket in the Hobbyist Finals. Everybody over there still acting out the event like a forensics team.
Yeah.
That's what it takes.
So in 5-inch racing, we're like, oh man, it's a back-to-back. But in whoop racing, and inspired by Whooptopia, the events that AK has run, we try and run as many packs back-to-back. In qualifying, we'd run 2 qualifiers back-to-back. Then you'd have a break of 6 heats, and then you'd run your 2 qualifiers. It was always back-to-back lipos, back-to-back batteries. Here we are chasing ace round number 2, back-to-back, but no harm, no foul. We got 4 pilots running for an ace, 1 with advantage for the win. '24 WeBLEED Northeast Whoop Championship. Is this the run for Podium, or is this the one that puts us into extra innings? Chase the ace, round number 2. Just Jay is your ace to chase. Good luck, pilots. Arm your quads. Live on the tone in less than 5. Yes, sir. Up and at him we go. Seeing a little shakeout of Merman there. He's dropped down to 3rd, but he is definitely your gunner as he pulled up 2nd in that first one. And Just Jay starting to pull away with it. And you know he's going to be playing safe on that dive. The issues there for Killer Cupcake.
So 3rd place, currently FPV Fritz. Merman in 2nd place, trying to catch Just Jay, flying cleanly and gapping farther and farther ahead. There's lap number 1 for Just Jay. 27.1, a really fast lap for the Hobbyist class.
Look at your battle for 2nd right now, though. Holy. There goes Merman. There goes FPV Fritz. They're only separated by 9/10 of a second. Issue for your leader. He's got 9.5 seconds to get up. Well, now that opens the door a little bit for Merman and FPV Fritz. They're now about 7 seconds back off of a leader. And it looks like we just had a pass. We got a battle here up at the front. Just Jay is taking the lead, but Merman and Fritz are coming in hot behind him.
Merman riding 2nd place with a little bit of a bobble on the newbie drone horseshoe in the middle of the room, as Fritz and Just Jay now running away with it. Just Jay on the final lap, already at the Tetris piece by Emacs and headed for the 180. This could be a victory lap for Just Jay. He's got some heat, but is it enough?
Well, he's got a 7-second lead. Merman and Fritz still tangled up there. Both of them crashing out right at the start of lap number 3, as it was a race to get back up in the air and see if they can pull up a second or maybe pull up a win. But this one is done Just J FPV is your Hobbyist Division champion. Two up, two
Bravo.
down, 2 aces. And now we may have a race-off, depending on how this finishes up. Here
Oh,
comes
no.
Fritz over in second. It's
Killer
going to be a
Cupcake.
race-off.
Killer Cupcake went down on the approach to the crash gate after the start-finish gate. That hurts. Oh, my goodness.
Merman in second. And so don't get the awards ready yet. We have our first race-off of the morning to decide the balance. Second and third, we got to decide the balance of our podium. As the event comes to an end here in the Craftsman Inn and Suites in Fayetteville, New York for Killer Cupcake. Having a pretty good weekend. I mean, getting faster every time on the track, finishing up the 3 laps.
Bravo, pilots. Bravo.
Hey, last lap for Killer Cupcake, a 43.7, one of the personal best hot laps for Killer Cupcake, 4th overall in our Hobbyist division. So we know one thing, Just J, 2 aces, your champion, came in as the 2nd overall seed, has a win, but now we have a race-off between Merman, who has a 2nd and a 3rd, and FPV Fritz with a 2nd and a 3rd. They're tied. We race off.
This is
2nd, 3rd.
This is going to be a great race-off, too. These guys have consistently similar lap times. We've watched them fly side by side throughout this entire bracket. They're close in skill. We're going to watch the battle happen live in just a moment. Fritz versus Merman. We saw Merman's incredibly consistent, though nervous, shaky forward movement. Merman, taking the slow and steady approach, worked out so many times in the early part of this double elimination bracket, but Fritz is there too. Hard to tell, hard to make a prediction. What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know. Fritz versus Merman for the race-off, 2nd place of the Hobbyist class finals.
First lap? This is the first lap? It's not the end of the first? Alright. You want me to do a whole lap?
Well, pilots getting ready for the race-off as we do another quick DVR review here. When it comes to the finals, you want everything to be perfectly buttoned up, understand what's going on, no mistakes.
Is that it? We gotta teach him.
We can see the gate on either side of these railing left. Two translators. In the course is that side. Yeah, yeah.
I say race the plane, I say
Yeah, those are the cubes.
there's the inside.
Regardless.
I saw it and I thought he bounced back out to the right.
I definitely thought he did too.
So I guess he must have bounced.
Skin of his teeth, both aces though.
I think he got through.
I couldn't tell.
Are we ready for the race off?
Well, results official after another DVR review, and it looks like it's race-off time, pilots. How you guys doing over there?
That's as close as it gets right there, boys. I think he got through.
It's not going to let me add a third round. Let's dive ball it. I got this. I can put it in practice. Because I have two options. I can wipe all this data.
They're plugged in.
Have you had that elite class medal?
Jeff just gave it to me. He said it's an extra.
Oh, okay. Because we were missing one of the elite class medals, and I would laugh my ass off.
We're standing up there, and Merman says, Ron, you look really good on you, man.
Nice.
I'm just going to wipe this data.
Just wipe it.
Yeah. Right?
Definitely clear the results.
That way we have a start.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Where are we doing the presentation? You want to do the awards right after, right? And you want to do them right here where there's a camera?
This is for second and third overall in our hobbyist division.
At least medals. Medals and prizes.
What does the chat think about this race-off? Come on, Merman versus FPV Fritz. The crowd here is loving it.
This guy's just he's making fun of our accents, I guess. Because we're saying merman. You're saying merman. Instead of merman. It's a man, not a man. I don't know what he's talking about. I haven't heard you say merman. Like, I wouldn't worry.
I think well, I see the discussion in the chat about pronunciation of mermin, which I'll take your advice, and it's now officially mermin. So
Mermin.
thank you, chat. Shout out Fresh Bread. What up, Crazy Do? Hey, guys, thanks for joining.
Unless he
Mothy,
wins,
Trim King, all these good people in the chat. I'm going to say what's up to them sometimes. Sorry, Joe.
unless he wins this race off, and then he's your reserve champion of hobbyists, and we're gonna have to go with Merman. But if he's third, it's Merman for life.
I don't get that logic, but I accept it. And I'm sure he does too.
Here is
We're going to
the deal.
change the spelling.
On the race off, there really isn't that much pressure. They're each on the podium, but who stands higher on the box? We're about to find out. Pilots, arm your quads. Live on the tone in less than 5.
Glory, fancy medals, and bragging rights on the line, and prizes on the line right now. First one across that hole shot's Merman, riding consistently in first place in front of FPV Fitz right now. A little bit of a bobble as he turns back. Now Merman into that Tetris piece by Emax, just ahead, giving a little bit of room now. But Fritz flying consistently, still sees him in his FPV feed.
Well, they're different sections. Let's stitch it up, right? They're separated by about 4 gates here at the moment.
Well, that's not far.
No, not
Let's
far
take it
at
to
all.
the dive for Fritz right now, as he's got a little ground to make up on Merman, getting ready to round out lap number 1.
Infinity FPV says, you got this, Fritz. Let's go.
Fritz crossing over now on to lap number 2. Looks like about 7 seconds back. A little bit of room to make up. But Merman keeping it smooth. You see those characteristic jitters, but it's still working for him.
Well, it's just like a regular merman, right? Like they don't walk or glide. They do the
Serpentine,
tail flap,
yeah,
right?
sort of.
Yeah, little serpentine.
It's working out well. Here at the end of lap number 2, he's already at the wiggle waggle. Merman, it's your race to lose. He's got company.
Yeah. FPV Fritz is only 2 gates back. Remember, he was 4 gates back. He's made up a little bit of time. He's made up about 4 seconds, or separated by 3.6 seconds here onto the 3rd and final lap.
Now they're side by side. That could have been the pass. I need to look ahead. Merman just moved into the 1 spot.
Back into the 1. Fritz is
Oh my
right on
gosh.
top.
Just got overpassed by Merman. Push him down to the ground for contact. Let's go on this dive gate. A clean dive for Merman and a little bit of a bobble for Fritz, trying to reset and make it happen. Meanwhile, Merman flying away with this here in the last part of the final lap. Hobbyist class race-off finals for second. Watch Merman's screen right now. He's got pressure, but isn't enough from Fritz. Didn't quite get there in time. So close. Your winner, Merman, for second place. Seconds in front of Fritz after 3 laps. Bravo, pilots. I love that kind of race-off. Beautiful.
Hey, we're gonna have guys come up here with you.
Come on up, yeah. Come on over. Oh, they love that. Look at that. That's what this event's about. Man, shout out to the cameraman over there. Oh.
Camera and lighting.
Ladies and gentlemen, Board Slayer here. Thank you very much for sticking with us for that Hobbyist class final. What a great final. Coming 2 different aces in a row and then bringing in that race-off, which we always want to see, guys. That's why we run that rule, so we can have more racing and settle things with racing. All right, so we got our finals guys coming in here, 1, 2, and 3 for the podiums, and we're going to get them up with Jesse and Joe in just 1 minute to get their prizes and medals. I believe Merman may or may not be putting on WeBLEED underwear for this podium. Oh, he's putting them on. Oh, they're on. All right, here we go. We got our podium. I can't right now. Listen, we can't upgrade the rating of this stream that much, Merman. Merman in second place. Yeah. All right, so we're going to have a DVR review on the medal ceremony. Eyes up, Zotek. Eyes up. Great job, Fritz. I got to get a picture with Merman in those undies, too. Thank you very much for that excellent podium pick, Merman. I appreciated that. For those of you that don't know, those are actually women's underwear.
Bravo, Just Jay with that first place medal.
Just Jay killing it out there. And he gets an awesome bind and fly drone, plus his entry fee back to him. That's $65 in cash in his hand.
Handful
and
of cash.
Another drone, ladies and gentlemen, for Just Jay.
Bravo, Just Jay.
Give this kid a round
Beautiful
of applause,
flying.
ladies and gentlemen.
First place in the hobbyist class. There's your podium on screen right there. Fitz, Merman, and your champion, Just Jay.
Go hug your son, buddy.
We're sending Scully over there for a photo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, joining us on the 2 YouTube channels, MultiGP and, of course, the WeBLEED FPV official YouTube channel, we're going to be... oh, hey, what's up? I didn't know. We're going to be taking a short break right now as we get set up for sports class finals, a double elimination bracket preceded by a couple of short practice rounds just around the corner. Don't go anywhere.
Well, you're going to have to go somewhere, though, because we're going to start a new broadcast, I believe. Dougie, is that right? Yeah, it'll be a new broadcast.
Go somewhere else.
So stay here on the WeBLEED FPV YouTube channel or the MultiGP YouTube channel. We're going to be back in about 10 or 15 minutes with the sports final. We'll be doing some practice rounds and then brackets for them. And we got a full heat or group of 16, 14-plus races with Chase the Ace at the end. Lots more racing to go. Sport, Pro, Elite. We've taken our field from 57. Now we're at the top 48, and we're just going to keep going until we get our 2024 WeBLEED Northeast Whoop Championship. So you may need to reconnect in about 10 minutes with the sport, and Jesse P. and I will be back right then.
See you in a minute.
WeBLEED!